Hello, my beautiful fragrance family. Dustin here, fragrance fan. Go ahead and be solid and click that like, comment, and subscribe, and don't forget to hit that bell notification. And I'm just going to keep on giving you guys these budget-friendly fragrance reviews. That $40-ish and $100 range, most of these are way less than that, and a good number of these you can find at your local rack stores. And I got one for you guys here today that you know about. I'm sure if you're watching this channel, I know that I'm not the first reviewer that you've seen, more than likely, but it shows that you have interest in fragrances, right? So if you have interest in fragrances, especially budget-friendly ones, I'm sure that you've seen this one on a list somewhere as far as fragrances that smell better than what they're priced at. Beast mode fragrances for the cheap. So without too much talk and too much introduction, let's just get into Bentley for Men Intense. Pretty juice. It's hard to get this thing to focus right now. There we go. Pretty juice. Some detailing on the atomizer cap, detailing inside of it. Atomizer itself is really tiny and squirts out really tiny, which is funny, on this big old bottle. And this is like metal around there. When you tap it, it almost seems like it would be loose, but it's not. It's snug on there, so I don't know what's up with that, but I think it's a classy looking bottle. I like it. I'm kind of a sucker for that color of juice a lot of times because I associate it with being something bold and masculine, and bold and masculine is what you get in this. It opens up like with this real peppery, spicy, boozy, sweet woodiness, and then you're gonna start discovering leather, incense, and patchouli. The patchouli isn't a real dominant note, but it does play a good role in this, adding to the richness of this fragrance, so that the booze, like the rum accord, isn't just sitting there by itself. It's like the patchouli really complements that. Perfuma.net does not list any kind of a booziness, but Fragrantica lists rum. This is known for being a boozy fragrance. I clearly get a booziness in this thing, and the incense is kind of cool because it's another one of those elements that adds a little bit of like a sparkle somehow in this, because it's like a sweeter incense, because this has a sweetness to it. And overall, like I said, this is a man's masculine, not for the faint of heart, not a crowd pleasing, but compliment getting and good quality type of a fragrance. This is not going to be for somebody that's 25 and under. Not saying that people under 25 can't appreciate this, because I do know people that are young that probably would really like this. And but overall, what's classified as being like youthful and mature, this definitely falls in the mature category. In fact, this kind of prompted me maybe for a later on list fragrance of things as far as what are masculine fragrances, because this is like the epitome of that hair on your chest type of a thing. This is like the boss of the business meeting. This is the one that kind of demands a little bit of attention. I haven't given this one too many full wears, but I wore it enough times. I feel like I can give you a pretty accurate review on this thing. I just can't speak 100% on the performance, but I'm pretty confident on what it does, because after you do 4 or 5 sprays, I'm getting a good scent bubble for like 4 hours, just hanging out, clearly smelling myself. And before it seems like it starts to taper off a little bit, but even then I can clearly smell myself. And I haven't been wearing it past like that 7 or 8 hour mark, but it's there. And I did spray it on my hand, and I didn't smell it too much the next morning, but it was still there, whereas there's other fragrances that I have that I could clearly smell in the morning. Atlas being one of them, could clearly smell it. This one I didn't, but that's not saying that it wasn't just because it was a whatever. Sometimes they act different on different days, you know what I mean, for whatever reason. So I'm thinking this is a very good performing fragrance, loud fragrance, not incredibly loud and super like sickening, choking out loud, but it is one that you do have to be mindful on the sprays, because it's so bold, different, spicy, woody, and boozy, can kind of carry a little bit farther than you're expecting it to. This is one of those ones that'll leave a good scent trail as well. So if you're doing a 4 or 5 sprays, that's all you need with this. I'm a heavy sprayer. I'll spray the daylights out of some fragrances. This one, I'll have a hard time going over 6 sprays with this. I might try to push the envelope and do 6 sprays. In fact, I'm going to wear this to church tomorrow, even though it's 1,000,000 degrees outside and they're recording this in June 2024 here in Florida. But I know I'm only going to be in church. I'm only going to wear those clothes to church. And it gets pretty cold in there. So, and I'm in the drum cage while I'm playing the drums, and there's no AC in that thing, and it gets hot. So that kind of stinks, but whatever. I'm going to wear this one. And I know it's going to be fitting for that kind of thing. I believe that there's certain fragrances that work better for church, fragrances that work better for going around and just doing your leisure activities. There's better fragrances for signature scents. And this one works in the business, dressed up, grown up, classy, church, nighttime, cool weather kind of a thing. I think you can get away with this in the daytime if it's cool enough outside, but I feel like this is better in the night. Kind of like at a, I don't know, a jazz club or something like that. In like the winter, you know, I feel like this would be like awesome for something like that. There is a jazz club by Mason Margiela too. It smells really good too, by the way. But yeah, so the hype on this thing was justified. I don't always fall for the hype thing, but I'd say 9 out of 10 times I do agree with it, because a lot of times there is justification for it. It is grounded in a certain thing, and this definitely smells more expensive than what it is. I kept seeing it at Burlington, and I'm like, man, if nothing else, you just need to review this thing, and more than likely you're going to like it, and I do. But this is not a safe blind buy. It is not a safe blind buy. Don't just take my word for it, even though I'm going to go ahead and give this thing a 7.5 out of 10. It's not a safe blind buy kind of a fragrance. It smells great. I might even bump this thing up to an 8 out of 10 the more time that I spend with it, because it seems like it's one of those fragrances that'll grow on you and you'll like more later on down the road. But if you're looking for a masculine, if you're not afraid of a masculine, loud and proud, bold fragrance that's boozy, sweet, spicy, leathery, and patchouli with a little bit of incense, some of that wood's just hanging out in there. If that sounds like it's interesting to you, then check it out. If you're not afraid to blind buy something, but don't say I didn't warn you, because it is a bold fragrance. Really nice nonetheless. So that's my final thoughts on Bentley for Men Intense. With that, I'm out. Y'all be blessed. Take care of yourself always. And until next time.